Hello everyone, hope that you're well and welcome to this Bitcoin update for you all. I hope that you are doing very well. Bitcoin, obviously, I suppose we can just pick up pretty much where we left last night, no? Where we were in the contenders live stream, and we were looking at this section of the chart, and obviously my thoughts were we were seeing very aggressive shorting up at the high here, and that continued down through the 382 in the end, of course. So it dipped down a little bit lower than what we thought, but overall overall we were kind of right in what we were thinking, that we were going to get at least a retest of those highs. Obviously the dip went down about 0.5% lower than what I planned. Hey, that happens. Didn't lose any money on it, so it doesn't really matter too much. But in the end, we did get our retest of that high. If you zoom down here on a lower term time frame, you will see that this is obviously where we dropped during the stream. In the end, we got the retest of the naked session point of control, put in another higher low, and we pumped straight through the level, obviously up towards that $50,000 zone. And this is much more normal type of consolidation. I know yesterday, it's kind of crazy, but yesterday there were a lot of people really angry with me that I didn't get the exact low. People were like, "Oh my God, Daniel, I closed my short position because you were thinking we were going to go higher, and then it dropped." And they were absolutely very frustrated with me that they closed their short. Well, I suppose overall they must be happy now as we are back above the level. But yes, that was a bit of a eventful evening. People were extremely mad about that for some reason. I don't really know why, but people not very happy about that. But anyway, we move on. This is the 9 times out of 10 consolidation that we have. Obviously, this was not expected, a kind of straight rejection, but 1 times out of 10 is going to happen. This was much more what we were expecting. Okay, we put in our high, we put in our consolidation range. I mean, I told you the exact fractal that you look for, and obviously it was the exact fractal that we had going on here. Consolidation, moving back up to the high, swing failure pattern, the last high, a drop that comes at the end of it. If you remember last night's contenders live stream, that is the fractal that we generally are trading for. Okay, or at least these retests. And if you get a swing failure pattern, you get a swing failure pattern sort of thing. So yeah, we obviously have done that swing failure pattern of the high here, as you can see. Blah, 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 blah. Very small, but nevertheless still a swing failure pattern and a pretty big rejection, and basically the start of a pullback here. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, great, where could we expect this pullback to? Well, obviously we have just a support resistance in itself. We saw that was resistance broken, big move to the upside. It's obviously coming in at about 48,960 still, but that is no longer a naked session point control. What I was looking at here is an interesting zone of support. You have the 1-to-1 extension, high, low, come back into the high. You obviously have the 1-to-1 extension coming in at about 48,725. Pull your fib from low to high. And again, we have to start to think this is going to be a zone, but we have the CC Fibonacci retracement, which is well respected. We have the 1-to-1 below it. We actually have more things coming in here. Wait and see this. We have coming into that zone again, we're looking at about 48,700, 48k. You see also in this zone we have the weekly open. Okay, we have the weekly open. We have the weekly open coming in. The exact price 48,814. So obviously that will be just above this 1-to-1, but we've still got that. The weekly open itself, obviously today's daily open also in that zone. So we have a few things lining up here. We have if I remember correctly, we have lining up with us very shortly the anchored VWAP from the low of this move. And I do remember correctly. We have the anchored VWAP from the low of the impulse. Also coming in onto this CC 1-to-1 weekly daily opens zone of support that we have here. So this is arguably a very important level. No, this is very, very, very important level. You obviously also have the old retest of resistance. Resistance can backtest that as support again. Yeah, basically you can backtest that as support again. Um, also will be your previous day point of control. Obviously, that's slightly lower, but again, we're viewing this as a bit of a zone. We're not viewing it as an exact dollar. So you have, that has to be said. That is definitely your view of support. I think you also have the naked session down here now as well. Yeah. So you also have your naked session coming in. Again, this is a little bit lower, but that naked session comes in at 48,300. Okay, so the lower end of the bracket, but still something to be aware of. No, 48,300 is the naked session point of control, and then obviously you're back down at 48k if you lose that. 48k would be the 1618 extension. So obviously you've got to think to yourself, if you lose this 1-to-1 zone, the next logical place to look for is that 1618, which comes in at about 48,050. Which coincides with your old really big volume. So you kind of got two support zones. The first one, which we just covered, and then lastly, really that 1618 extension. If you do lose that, well, it's obviously going to be one of those things again where it's not going to look too great if you start to lose that. You would imagine that you're coming back down to challenge the lows. To be honest with you, you would imagine that you're coming back down to challenge those lows. Because that 1618 is right on the CC. Yeah, if you really lose that CC from the last low to the high, if you lose that, you would have to think it's likely that you're coming back down to these lows. Okay, and overall, it's kind of been, if we come down here, we've kind of moved in this range. No, if we lose those supports, why not just envision we come down to the low of the range again? Yeah, wouldn't be too surprising, no. Obviously, if we do not come down this low, Bitcoin likes to surprise. If we do not make our way down here, well, really simply, we still have this local range to trade. We've already traded from the low to the high, back down to the lows. Now, this is one that I posted in the champions group a little bit earlier. Let me I need to delete the anchored VWAP because otherwise it just skews the whole chart. It's really annoying. But obviously, we still have the potential, if we are going to be finding our support around here, just to continue trading in this range where we clearly have our highs. We can just come back down to the low and trade in this mini range. So it's really, if we start to break down from here, we know our next level of support. Okay, should we not break down, then, well, we can continue to trade this range. If we break to the upside of the range, well, the next level of resistance is very, 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 very obvious, in my opinion. And that is really simply has to be viewed as this last high. Okay, so that was put in on the 23rd of August, a few weeks ago now. And that has to be viewed as your next level of resistance should we break to the upside. No, because, well, that's where your last high is. So that has to be viewed as the resistance. Obviously, that where we would look for if we continue this range and do tip the highs, do we put in one of these failed auction type moves and come back into the range? Well, then we can obviously look for our drop, or obviously always a swing failure pattern and look for the drop. That's really what I'd be looking for. Wouldn't short the initial break. You'd only really look for the short if we come back down into the range. Otherwise, of course, if you just break up and there's no retracement, there's no need to short, obviously. I hope that's obvious. And yeah, should we break that high and not swing failure pattern, I hope you all know by now the next level that we're looking towards is obviously the overall CC, which comes in at about $51,000 to $52,000. I've said this many times. If we break this CC here, I'm personally looking towards $58,000 to, yes, that big weekly level, $60,000. So there we go. That for me is very, very, very simple in terms of making a plan, in terms of knowing where I'm looking for the downsides, knowing where I'm looking for the upsides, and knowing what I'm going to do if we just literally remain sideways. So I'm ready for every single move. I'm ready for if we come down. I'm ready for if we go up. I know where I'd want to trade if we go up. I know where I want to trade if we go down. It's kind of like yesterday. Hey, I know people were really mad at me about it. I didn't really, people were mad at me because I got the, I don't even want to say I got the prediction wrong. Like, overall, my prediction was that we're going to come back up again. It's just, yes, I missed the low by like 0.5%. So I missed the low by 0.5%, how bad of me. But, you just have to remember, my friends, this is trading. It's a game of probabilities. There is no 100%. If you want 100%, go Do not don't be a trader, because there is no way of knowing 100% what's going to happen. You just got to trade the probabilities. Yeah, you got to trade the probabilities. That's why you do your technical analysis. You mark out your levels. Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you miss a trade. Who cares? Like, if you miss a trade, you don't lose any money by missing a trade. You only lose money if you take a bad trade. Yeah. So, I know the levels I want to trade. I know the levels I'm waiting for. And it's as simple as that now. It's a bit of a waiting game, isn't it? So, yeah, that's just the really quick update that I wanted to give you. I hope that you have enjoyed. I hope that it has been helpful. And, yeah, there we go. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed this really quick update. Short and sweet, 10 minutes, giving you the levels, letting you know what I'm looking for. And, yeah, let's go and crush it. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. Have a brilliant evening and goodbye. Cheers.